Okay, so hey guys, and I'm back with another movie review, and this time it is the sequel of a requel. This time it is Jumanji The Next Level, which is surprisingly actually better than the first one. Let's begin the review. Okay, so the opening of this movie is a big improvement from the opening of the first movie. The opening of Welcome to the Jungle was such a cringe fest, and just the real life scenes from that movie itself was such a cringe fest, but thankfully that's not the case for this movie. The IRL scenes of this movie are pretty nice and even funny at times, and I think that's one of the reasons I prefer this movie over Welcome to the Jungle. Okay, so now let's talk about the next level of Jumanji, the video game. I prefer the second level over the first one simply because of how much diversity the second level has. Like, there's a desert on one hand and a land completely filled with snow on the other, and there's also a place with lots of bridges and all, which gave us a really nice and entertaining scene. The bridge place is probably my favorite place of this movie simply because of how fun of an idea it is and how entertaining of a scene it gave us. The difficulty is also more in the second level obviously, and that makes the movie a little more intense and also a little more fun. Okay, so now let's talk about the characters of this movie. This time the video game avatars do not have the same people controlling them, and there's a lot of shuffling going on and all, and that makes for some really fun scenes and also tests the acting skills of the cast. And the cast obviously passes that test in a glorious way because even though different people have selected different avatars this time, the cast still finds a way to act in an amazing way and still provide the audience some laughs. Bethany being a horse might seem like it's kind of pointless at the beginning, but it pays off in the end since the horse is pretty useful near the end when Bethany has already left his body. Alex is still the worst character though. Okay, so now let's talk about the villain of this movie. I like him more than the villain of the first movie simply because he doesn't carry some gross centipedes or spiders with him, and also because he feels more of a video game villain. And that's saying a lot since the first one already felt a lot like a video game villain. You know, I think that Sony should try out a PlayStation cinematic universe or something. I don't know, these Jumanji movies are technically video game movies and they aren't even that bad, so maybe a PlayStation cinematic universe could actually work. Okay, so if you like the first movie, then I would definitely recommend this movie to you since this one is just the first movie but just better and more entertaining. This is just so much fun and I really enjoyed watching it in the theaters, especially because of the breath scene and the ostrich scene. Yeah, while the breath scene might come as no surprise when I say it was an absolute blast to see in the theaters, the ostrich scene might come as a little bit of a surprise, but trust me, the ostrich scene was also amazing and I had a really fun time seeing it on the big screen. Okay, so now we are heading into spoiler territory, so spoiler alert. Okay, so there's sort of a subplot going on in this movie where Eddie is angry over Milo for selling the shop or something, and while it may seem unnecessary at first, it pays off in the end. Hearing that Milo had not got much time left was such a surprise, and it was a really nice twist and also a sad moment. Okay, so now let's talk about the final scene. It's actually pretty intense and way more intense than I expected it to be, but I really didn't like one thing about it. It's just kinda a nitpick though. Anyways, that thing is when Spencer clicks the brutal guy's chest to see his strengths and weaknesses. A screen pops up to tell his strengths and weaknesses. Well, my problem with that is that it's just so dark that you just cannot read them without pausing it. And you don't even get enough time to read it, which is kinda disappointing. What is this, Suicide Squad or something? I really wish we got to see his strengths and weaknesses without having to pause. The Bat Horse thing at the end was pretty cool though, and it looks so much cooler than a unicorn. Like, why are unicorns more popular than this thing? This horse with bat wings is such a better and cooler idea, and it even looks so much better. Rating 7.5 out of 10. Best moment, the bed scene. Okay, so yeah guys, and that was it for the video, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course subscribe. And so yeah guys, bye.